Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everyone is doing well. As you can see, we have a temporary setup today. We are in the process of moving. I did not get it complete this weekend, but I did get a good portion of it done. And so, yeah. Anyway, temporary setup, and we will resume back to our normal setup here, hopefully in the next week or so. But for now, this is what we got. So, hope everyone had a beautiful weekend and things were productive for you. Productive doesn't necessarily mean you got things done, guys. It can mean self-care, right? I'm feeling a very big energy of self-care this week. I even have a school assignment that is self-care this week, which is kind of cool. But I digress. Anyway, let's see if we can't get the energies for today and get you some messages. So let's get can I get the current energies, please? Current energies. If you'll notice, it's even a different deck. This is the very first deck I ever bought that turned me on. 2 tarot. So there's that. We have 5 of Cups in reverse. So if ever there was a card I wanted in reverse besides the 10 of Swords, it would be the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups is looking at 3 spilled cups and not paying attention to the 2 behind you, right? The 2 behind you that are full, and you're just paying attention to these 3 that have spilled. But it's in the reverse, so I feel like that's coming out of that poor me victim mentality, right? You're starting to see the lessons within the curses, if you will, the blessings, and understanding that the things that are happening in your highest good. And even if they look like negative or curses or things that happen to you, you're figuring out that these are the things that happen for you. And understanding that and not feeling, I mean, there's still a sadness, right? There's always a sadness when things come to an end, or if things don't go the way we planned. There's a level of sadness, and allowing that in addition to understanding that it's in your highest good. So it's that cognitive dissonance, if you will, where you have 2 opposing ideas that are both true at the same time. Yes, this hurts, but yes, it's still the best thing for me. Understanding that and working with those energies, right? Understanding that you have to give yourself time to grieve for something that may have been lost, but then understanding that it's in your highest good and coming out of that energy with a gratitude, because gratitude is the energy that we need to be in for everything. It is the highest form of love that we can give. And actually, I met some new friends last night, and they were talking about they'd gone to a conference here in Bernalillo for with Greg Braden. He was talking about heart math and how your heart actually has neurons, and it has not its own brain, but you can speak to your heart when you're making decisions instead of speaking to your head. So one of the not tricks, but one of the ways to figure out if you're making a decision with your head or your heart is to flip a coin. And if you're disappointed at the answer, you know, it only works on yes, no. But if you're disappointed, then that's your heart telling you. Anyway, I thought that was kind of neat. But, all right, let's see. More energies for today. Can I get a message to go with this 5 of Cups energy? All right, we've got the 10 of Cups in reverse. So I think, 10 of Cups is like the happy card, right? It's like the mini sun card. But it's in the reverse. So I think there's still some things that you guys are not seeing. And this looks to me like the tribe, maybe? Usually it's a family card, but this looks more like a tribe. I don't really see necessarily a mother, father, and a child, but I do see a gathering, right? And I see people of all different, there's people, there's mermaids, there's all races in there, and they're coming together with a cornucopia of blessings, of food. And think about what food would be in the tarot. Would be what do you digest? What do you understand? What are you putting into your body, into your mind, into your soul? And this is your tribe. This is your familiar tribe, right? But we got it in the reverse. So I feel like what this is saying, especially paired with this one, you have to kind of let yourself be open to new tribes, right? Start looking, instead of looking at what you lost, this tribe that you may have lost, and your tribe could be your family, could be a relationship, could be anything. You're looking at what you gained, and you're going to be gaining a new tribe, right? Our soul family changes over time as our vibration raises, right? If you're on the same level as someone, then you're going to be, you'll be matched and magnetic and the whole 9 yards. But if your vibration changes and theirs doesn't, they fade away. And maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But the point being is you let them go with love and gratitude for their time in your life. And you're open to the new possibilities of a new tribe. To the Knight of Swords. So this is that fast-moving energy, right? I mean, look at the tidal wave, right? And he's got his sword up, like his thoughts, his words. He's very quick with his words, very quick-witted. I did hear last night something about, I think it was with Pluto in your 3rd house, which is a generational type thing. So if you're 50-something, you're probably in this realm of astrology, but Pluto in the 3rd house has to do with your communication. And if you have Pluto in the 3rd house, your communication and your thoughts, your sword's energy is kind of different, right? So Pluto is, it's a malefic planet, and it, how do I explain this? It's almost like an Aquarius energy is the only way I can think of to explain it. Is it's different, right? You go down dark rabbit holes and you go down the path until you can't go anymore and you get sidetracked a lot, right? But this is with your communication and with your thoughts with Pluto. And sometimes you can come across as very abrasive, if you will, and at times quick-witted. It can serve you well, or it can work against you. But the energy is you think differently than everybody else. And you tend to walk in, let me give you a good example. So you'll walk into a room and everybody's talking about, I don't know, astrology. And you come in and you flip the subject to tarot. And completely change the subject. And then you give your opinion on it and you come off as the expert. Because you've been down the rabbit hole, because you have so much knowledge about it. And you're not usually open to anybody else's idea about it. So this is saying be careful of that, right? Because you want to understand that there are different things for different people. What's right for you isn't right for everybody. And don't assume to know 100% of the truth about anything. I do mean anything, because we're always learning. Every day we're learning. Every day we find out new information and we get new knowledge. And it's how do we turn that knowledge into wisdom? How do we take this yearn and craving and curiosity, going down the rabbit hole, asking all these questions, all these deep questions, and still be open, after we've spent a lifetime of figuring things out, and still be open to new ideas. We have to be open to new ideas, guys, because we'll never know everything, because the universe is always expanding. It's always showing us new things, showing us new layers. You might know everything there is to know about, I don't know, anything. Pick something. Chemistry. Until somebody does an experiment somewhere and learns something new about it. I've always been a big proponent in self-care of these salt baths, right? Didn't know why. Didn't know the chemical scientific reason why salt is so good for you. Still kind of don't. I'm still trying to put the pieces together. I do know, thanks to my friend who's a chemistry tutor, that salt will make the water more dense and thus allow you to float. I am so sorry, guys. It's been a long weekend. Anyway, makes the body float. So I guess you could say it brings the humans to the surface, right? So if you were to go to the Dead Sea, you would literally float like you'd be walking on water. And if you think about from a self-care perspective, it's bringing those things to the surface, bringing your subconscious to the surface. That is the healing. So maybe that is why the salt baths help with self-care. And for me personally, anyway, it may not help for you, but it's something I do that works really well. And I did it and I knew it worked, but I didn't understand why. See, so I'm the type of person that would go and ask the chemistry teacher, why is salt water such a thing, right? And go down the rabbit hole to figure it all out, instead of just accepting the fact that salt baths are amazing. That's like that. That's the Pluto in third house energy. Sorry guys, my voice is going. I swear my voice will be fine for the entire time before I do these readings and for the entire time after I do these readings. And I sit down to do them and it's like I can't stop clearing my throat. So I do apologize if that is a bothersome noise. Anyway, can I get some messages? Thank you. We've got the Knight of Cups. So we got 2 knights in a row. So knights are like the teenagers, but they're fast moving. Very, very fast moving energy. And think about what a teenager does, right? He jumps in head first before he really contemplates what he's doing. And so this is usually the Knight of Cups would be romantic partner coming in, but this one is looking at the cup itself. Maybe he's going down the rabbit hole trying to figure out what is love, in a whole new way. We've been taught that love is one way. Not one way, but the way our parents taught us, right? We were raised understanding that oh my gosh, I'm so sorry guys. My brain is scattered today and my phone won't stop going off and I'm just getting okay. Our parents taught us by example through their relationships what it was to have a relationship. So if your parents were toxic in any way, then, which most people are, without even knowing it, then you've been taught one way to look at love, one way to look at relationships. I feel like this card is telling you to just look at love itself. Instead of looking at the example of love, look at what is love itself. We talked about the 5 love languages before. But what is that love? And what is it that fills your cup up, right? And with that night energy, and we move fast, we jump into these things and we try a bunch of different things. And, we get this idea that we want to learn about something or that we love something. And we go down the rabbit hole. Pluto in third house energy. Go down the rabbit hole until we learn everything there is to know about it. And we haven't even realized or understood or ascertained whether or not we even like it. Determine if you like it first. If you don't even like it, what is the point of going down the rabbit hole and learning everything there is to know about it? Learn those things that you love, guys. Take a minute, take a pause, and give yourself time to see if you really like the thing that it is that you're going for, that you're going after, and make sure it's fulfilling to you. Find your passion, really, I guess is what that card is saying to me with the other cards, right? And as you discover what your passions are, and what you like, then, so sorry guys, hang on one second. I am so sorry. Okay, I had to just really cough and get it out. But anyway, I think I'm thrown off by being in the influx of this move and the not having my space the way I like it, right? I had to kind of set this up pretty quick this morning just to get something out here. And I didn't want it to be... Anyway, I wanted it to reflect me. Point being... Back to the cards. So looking at what is love, what is it that makes you happy? What is that passion? And having the mindset of, I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to take a beat. Is this my tribe? Is this really something that I wanted in these 3 cups that spilled? Or is what I want truly behind me? Or what I truly wanted behind me? I mean, the whole story, as you start to sew it together, is you don't know what you want till you know what you don't want. Right? So be aware of that, and don't go so far down the rabbit hole that you have not wasted time. There's never wasted time, but that you have any level of regret, you know, trying to have that regret. And then to finish off the reading, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. And that is that mature energy of understanding your resources. She's the one that gets shit done, right? She understands that even if you can't afford it necessarily, maybe you can trade a service for it. She understands that the resources are within her and the divine. See how she's getting that energy from up above and channeling it down. And she looks like an angel in there. And again, sorry about the glare, guys. Half in, half out of the water, right? And she's got that earth energy, you know, she's got leaves in her hair and whatnot. And she's got her crystals on her neck. I love that. Never noticed that before. And her third eye is defined. And she just knows that everything she needs is within her. She can do it. You know, she's got confidence, that level of confidence that one might have if they were a millionaire, say. You know, you don't worry about where the next dollar is coming from because there's so many dollars in the bank, right? Your dollars in the bank are you. It's your energy. It's your resources. It's your skills. It's how you love yourself and how you pause to see if it's right for you and not right for you. And you don't move forward with things that are not right for you. And you let your tribe come to you, and you let tribes go with grace and love and gratitude when it's time for that to happen. We don't sit and dwell on it. We turn around and we appreciate what's still left and what's moving forward. You know, if we turn around and look at these 2 cups, the other 3 might fill back up with the ocean because the ocean tide is coming in, see? And understanding that everything for a reason. Always in our highest good. So I'm going to leave the tarot portion there, guys, because I feel a little scattered today. I'm not going to lie. And I'll get you a chakra love card. So I don't have the Mermaid Oracle because it's packed, but I do have chakra love cards. So we're going to use those. I think that's all. Yeah, I have one other Oracle, but it's kind of not conducive to these readings. So we got 2 that fell. We've got safety. In the hurricane of life, a strong foundation will keep you safe. Root chakra, snowflake obsidian. I don't actually have a snowflake obsidian to show you, but understand that your safety is within you, and no matter what life throws at you in the way of a hurricane, if you have a solid foundation in who you are, your safety is in that, right? Understanding who you are. If somebody criticizes you, or somebody, I don't know, triggers you or reminds you of things from your past, if your solid foundation in the now, in the presence of now, then you'll be safe. And the next card out, shine. You are made up of stardust, so keep sparkling. Solar plexus, and that's a Mukite. I might have Mukite. I do not have Mukite. But you know what? I was at a shaman fire ceremony last night, and they had all this beautiful jewelry, and the Mukite just kept jumping out at me. And that would be your solar plexus, guys. That's your identity, right? For example, you know, many of you know I changed my name legally, and there's several people in my life that just refuse to use that new name. You know, there's some family members and they just do it out of habit, and I understand that, but there's other people that don't talk to me very often and really don't have don't have a reason to not use the new name. And then I have to ask myself, am I doing that? Am I still living in my old identity? So ask yourself that, guys. You know, what is your self-confidence? What is your identity? Are you standing in it? Because that's the only way to be safe. That's the only way to to have that solid foundation when the hurricane comes in. You have to know who you are. Stand in your truth. You know, and standing and speaking your truth is all about the throat chakra. So that would make sense with why my throat chakra is so off today. And the fact that I'm in flux of a move, right? So I'm half here and half in my new place. And it can scatter you. It's, I don't want to say jarring. It's, what is the word? It's scattered, I guess. I don't know a better word than that. It's I'm not really on solid ground yet, so it's shaky. I hope that makes sense to you. But I feel like I'm being reminded, know who you are, do your thing. Your foundation's within you, not within the four walls around you. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there because, I feel like it's not really going in any more of a direction than it's already gone in. So I feel like those are the messages you need to hear. And we will talk in a minute. And I'm certain it's going to be a fun reading after the reading today. Love and light. Hey guys. Yeah, interesting reading today. Let me take a sip of coffee. I don't know why I was so scattered, but I feel like that in and of itself is part of the reading. I felt like after watching it, it kind of went in a bunch of different directions, but there was a few things that jumped out at me. We'll start at the beginning. So I said that normally I ask for the current energies, right, for the first couple cards, and I slipped and said messages. So it was a little off my game. It was putting the cart before the horse. The messages before the current energies, which is something I don't often do. So I feel like that was like being ahead of yourself, not being where you are, but maybe living a little bit in the future, right? Anxiety is actually living in the future, worrying about the future and whatnot. So that was kind of there. The other thing I said was in reference, see, and I'm doing it again, in reference to the Greg Braden event that is taking place in Bernalillo. I said regarding Greg Braden, I said for, but then I switched it to with. And those are two very significant words, right? If you're doing something for someone or you're doing something with someone, two very different energies. And I think we talked last week about not doing things for people, but helping them to do them themselves. So I felt like that little word mistake. I don't know if I call it a mistake. That little word quirk meant that, make sure you're doing things with and not for. I mentioned the word tribe a million times today. Guys, we get stuck on this family thing. And I mentioned family when I was talking about my new legal name, that my family will some of them will just never use it. And I'm okay with that. Like, they're just never going to see me as anything other than my original name. And that's okay. There's going to be people in your life that won't see your growth, that won't understand you're a new person. They will never see you beyond what they've already determined you to be. And that's because they're not seeing themselves that way, right? They're not growing maybe, or they're not recognizing their own growth. They just don't see it. That's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. And it's making sure that you're looking at yourself with your now eyes, right? I refer to myself as Sonora. My birth name was Monica. And I think maybe that's what helped throw me off today, was I got a text that was addressed to Monica. And I've asked this person time and time again to use my new name. So that really kind of threw me off. The other thing I said was, we got the two cards that were the Knights, the Knights. And I said, when I said it, I kind of heard in my head as I was rewatching the video, 2 nights in a row. So what, 2 nights in a row? So if you do something 2 nights in a row, I don't know, maybe is that a habit? Did you create a habit that way? Or did something happen this past weekend that was 2 nights in a row? Anyway, something to look at there. I don't know what that might mean to you guys. And then I talked a lot about not going down the rabbit hole if it's something you don't like. Determine if you like the thing before you go down and learn everything there is to know about it. And I actually, upon rewatching the video, kind of felt like this was talking more about people, right? Because it was right around the time I was talking about the tribe. and family and whatnot. We have, as humans, we have a need to be social. We're going to come across many people in our lives, family, friends, otherwise, that, you know, everybody wants to be liked. You know, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't like to be not liked. And I guess the question is, do you worry about if you like that person? You know, I had heard a thing, I had some difficult times with a family member and was struggling to get through it. And somebody asked me, you know, if you met that person on the street tomorrow and they didn't hold this title in your life, you know, this family member title, would you even be friends with them? You know, my answer was no. Oh, the person's an asshole. Why would I? And then their answer was, then why do you care? Why go down the rabbit hole of understanding why this relationship isn't working, or why this person doesn't like you, ultimately, just because they hold title in your life? So it's not the title, it's the person, guys, you know? And actually, now that I say that, you know, I talk about my 2 names. It's not what name it is. It's who I am, you know? And if you notice, my throat chakra is very clear now. And it wasn't. And I actually paused the video when I was saying, when did I pause it? I said, I was talking about what you liked and what your passions are. And then I had to pause the video. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about making a person fit into a title just because it's the title? Are you passionate about, I don't know, anything? Like, I'm passionate about my spirituality, so it's very at the forefront of my life. But it's not at the forefront of everybody's, and that's okay. But I stand in my truth of it. Yeah, I think I'm still scattered a little bit, guys. Sorry. The other thing I talked about was a lot of half in the water and out, right? I mentioned that in the card. He was half in of the water and out of the water. And I was talking about my move, and I'm half in the new place and half in the old place. So we have these times in our lives, guys, and it could be mental, it could be physical, it could be in the 3D, 5D, whatever, where you're kind of like half your old self, but half your new self, and you're that tornado that we were talking about at the end. And I mentioned the dollars in the bank, you know, that metaphor about having the dollars in the bank. Guys, you are the dollars in your bank. Yes, it's a tornado. Yes, it's a very tumultuous time for me. I can't stand moving. I don't know of a person alive that likes to move. Half my belongings are in a new place. Half my belongings are here. You know, I had to make this temporary setup. And I even kind of tried to blame the setup. Like, I'm not in my right space to be doing these readings. But really, the readings come from within me. It's not the crystals I have on the table. It's not the backgrounds I have. It's not the space I have around me. It's not my space. You know, and I was thinking as I say that, like the old, I don't know if you guys remember MySpace before Facebook. It's not the space. It's the content. It's what you put on the page. It's what's within you. And that's the bank of who you are. You know, in my case, draw on those strengths that Monica had, and then develop the ones that Sonora has. I have a really hard time even sometimes thinking of myself as Sonora. I'll give you a good example. When I'm in that low vibe energy, when I'm in that poor me mentality, that victim mentality, in my head, I'm still Monica. But when I'm in that high vibe place where I'm in a good place and I can start to see, you know, the 2 cups instead of the 3 that are spilled, then I see myself as Sonora. So how can I fault other people when I can't even figure out the name myself, right? And I'm not sure that I ever will understand that. You know, I had a met with some new friends last night, and at the Greg Braden fire ceremony, met some new people, amazing people, amazing people. Caught up with one of my girlfriends from my intuition class who I had never met in person before, and that was amazing. And you know, it was a really high vibe night for me. It was around like-minded people. We all had similar beliefs. You know, one was from New Hampshire, one was from San Antonio. My girlfriend's from Canada. Like, we're from all over the world, basically. Well, our continent. And getting to know these people and understanding that there are people out there that think the way I think, that believe the way I believe, and then we're teaching me new things. You know, they taught me about this heart math, and even I think one of the ladies said, because I asked, you know, how's the conference, what's it all about and whatnot. She goes, well, she started to say something and everybody kind of got quiet. And I can imagine, because they paid a lot of money to be at that conference. So who am I to walk in for free? You know, and she said, but we're meant to share it. Like, that's why we take this class. We're meant to share it. And she started to explain this heart math to me, and it was amazing. And, you know, I kind of lost time for a minute. Like, we knew the restaurant was closing. We were sitting in a restaurant, and we ended up getting kicked out because we had stayed so long. Time stopped, you know, it paused for us for a moment, and we connected, and we were present. We were in the moment. You know, I don't think I even really was paying attention to where we were for the most part. And the other part that was really interesting about last night, which kind of might explain the whole thing, where I was, throughout the reading, I used 3 words every time. So I said, tribe, and then soul family, and then I said, I don't even remember, I didn't write it down, but I kept using 3 different words to try to explain what I meant. And the restaurant we were in, the people that own the restaurant and the people that work there didn't speak English, and yet we still managed to get everything we needed and wanted, and we're grateful to each other for understanding and being understanding of the challenges that we faced with the language barrier there. And, you know, some of us knew a little bit of Spanish enough to be dangerous, so it worked out. And they knew a little bit of English enough to be dangerous, so we were able to get our order placed, and we got our food delivered and whatnot. But the point being is, guys, you don't always speak the same language with another person. You might not see them the way they are today. You might see them through a historical lens. They might see you through a historical lens. The point is, don't see yourself through the historical lens. Try to see yourself the way you are today, the way you are now, and who you are now. But draw on the dollars in the bank. Draw on who you used to be. What were your strengths? What are you going to carry with you? And what are you going to leave behind? You know, the fire ceremony last night was all about transmitting the energies of these 3 major fears, right? It was self-worth, trust, and abandonment. These are the 3 major themes, if you will, that most people have a problem with, at least one. And the fire ceremony was meant to transmute that energy and release it back into the universe, and bring back a healthier sense of these things, right? You know, some people have trust issues, some people have abandonment issues, and it's just letting those things go, you know, and you breathe the energy into the fire and let it transmute through the fire. And you know, it's a ritual. It's the magic's within you. It's reminding you to be present. To, if you do have trust issues from the past, draw on the strength of, maybe you can see micro expressions. Maybe you can kind of sense when somebody's lying. Draw on that strength, but don't be so not skeptical, pessimistic maybe, that you see one red flag and right away you jump to the conclusion. Don't jump to conclusions, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make there. Anyway, I guess this reading, it really wasn't a reading of the reading, but a little bit of an extension of the reading, and it's a little bit different today. I do still kind of feel a little bit scattered. I'm questioning whether or not I'm even going to post this, to be honest with you. But I probably will, because, you know, we're not all on our A game all the time. And today's definitely not my A game day. But, you know, there's something in it for someone. And even in our mistakes, even in our times when we don't feel like we're at our best, somebody somewhere needed that. So I'm hoping somebody somewhere needs this. I think I even closed the reading with, you know, I feel like those are the messages you needed to hear, because I wasn't going anywhere further with it. Sometimes you just got to know when to stop and just say, okay, I've gone far enough down the rabbit hole. It's time to just stop and turn around and look at something else. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate your patience with me today and this week as I move. Hopefully I'll have a new setup here soon. But anyway, you guys have an awesome day, and I trust it will unfold beautifully. Much love and light.